All right, be alive. All right, I'm on the show.
He said he's not going to show off the car, so.
Okay, that's all right. Just keep an eye on it. Just get the right foot. Just there. Put your hands on the steering wheel.
No.
What are you reaching for?
Oh, whoa. Hey,
Get out of the car, man. You got a gun right there.
Whoa.
Get out of the car.
There's rights to this.
Get out.
There are rights to this.
Do you have a concealed
There are
carry?
rights to this.
Get out.
Hold up right there.
It's open. My hands are up. No,
you got
This is on body cam. You have a body cam, sir?
Put your hands over your eyes.
Do you have a body cam?
Put your hand over your eyes.
Do you have a body cam, sir?
Put your hands over your eyes.
Yeah, you're gonna
I will send this dog on you.
I will shoot you
Hey,
if you do.
don't fucking grab that gun.
You have rights.
Put your hand.
You have rights too. You have rights too.
Don't you
You
dare.
have rights. You have rights. You
Right.
cannot
Don't you
shoot me
dare.
here.
You
This
need
is
to be-
unconstitutional. You know that.
Right, you have a weapon,
Hey.
okay?
Yes, I
Don't.
do. And it's
Don't.
What I need you to do.
Hey, you guys
listen.
grabbing me on this is also unconstitutional. Body cam request.
Can you quit yelling so I can talk to you?
You have a gun
need more
for me,
units
sir.
right now.
I need you to relax for me,
I
okay?
will shoot you if that's a threat. And so open that. You have no body cam. You know this.
He has a
My
body
hands are open.
camera.
My hands are open.
Okay.
My hands are open.
You need to get out of the
No,
car
I
so
do
we
not.
can remove you
I
from
do
that
not.
weapon.
You cannot. No, it is constitutionally owned. I see that.
Do you have a concealed carry permit?
It is not concealed. Yes, you can see the weapon. It's right there.
Don't
Body
do
cam.
it.
Body.
Okay.
What are you afraid of?
Don't do it.
I'm not doing anything.
Do me a favor. Just please step out of the car. That's all we're asking you to
Oh,
do.
you're asking me not to gunshot.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Conceal your weapons, please.
No.
This is how we
Get out
treat
of
each
the
other
car.
civilly.
Please.
This is not how we act civilly. You know
Sir.
this. Right eye. Right eye.
You got cover?
No. Just
Yes, we do.
don't. Just
Do
please.
you have body cam?
Please.
Do you have body? Do not forcibly remove.
Do
me
not.
from-
Don't.
Whoa.
Do it.
You know
Don't.
that. You know that. It's not.
Please.
I need you to get out of the car.
Ouse. Ben, ouse.
Hey, SC double blue, sir. They're gonna shoot me on double blue.
Just relax.
No,
Please
just relax.
just
There's
please
rights
get out of
to
the car.
this. There's rights to this. You know there are rights to this.
Listen, we can figure this out.
We can talk about this,
Oh,
okay?
this is how you
But right
feel
now,
about this.
we can't
Listen.
talk about it with you not listening to us.
Just
Well, not listen. You
Okay.
are first of the ground.
all I'm asking you to
You're
do,
violating my rights
You
right
just-
now. Let go of me.
You just put your hand on a gun,
sir.
Whoa. No, you pulled a gun on me unconstitutionally.
Please.
And I did my in response.
Get,
Oh.
we don't want
Please.
to do this, man.
Just
okay?
get out of the car. I'm just asking. We'll get this figured out. Just come out and just get out of the
You
car.
release me now.
We can't do that.
Release it. I have Second Amendment rights, David.
Okay. Just get out of the car. Come on. Come back here. We'll
Excuse
talk
me?
about it.
Excuse me. This right here is a reason
We'll
to
get
defend
this-
myself, cast a doctrine. You know that.
We'll get this figured out. Don't do it. Please. Just come on.
Get out of the car, sir.
Just get out of the car. Just step
out
out.
of
The gun's down.
No, just step
Get
out.
out of the car.
Just step out of the car. Just step. Don't do it.
Get out of the car.
You're on double blue. You know what's gonna happen, right?
Just stop.
You need to get out of the car. That's
No,
a
I
lawful
don't.
order. You're going to go to
What a
jail.
gunpoint. Oh, take me to jail then. Go ahead.
Just
Right
come
now
on.
you're obstructing.
I can't.
No, you're obstructing. You're pointing a gun at me, sir. Right now, my life's in threat.
Okay. Well, we
I
have
don't even see body cam on this, sir. I'm just gonna drive away. I'm not gonna bother anybody.
No, you're
Hands
not.
on the seat.
Don't do this.
No.
Don't do it. Don't.
Wow. Privilege, I tell you.
Crazy.
Lucky him. He got away with a lot. Wow.
All right, a couple more, and then we
In my mind, I heard gunshot going off constantly.
Now, last week I had you write an essay about the things that you liked the most. This week I thought it might be fun if we wrote an essay about the things that we disliked the most. Solomon,
Yes, ma'am.
can you think of something that you dislike?
Being a nigga. I didn't mean nothing bad. The teacher asked a question and I just answered it.
Why'd you say it?
'Cause it's the truth. If and I was white, my pa'd still be alive. Being a nigga killed my pa. You answer me something, sir.
If I can.
Would you like to live to be 100?
I'm sure I would. It's not very likely, but I guess all of us like to live to a ripe old age.
Would you rather be black and live to be 100 or white and live to be 50?
Oh, Paul just had a revelation.
All right, one more, then we can get one.
It was Freddie, Sam, Corey, Eric, Philando, Ahmad, Steven, Kenneth, Amadou, Jonathan, Christian, Terrace, Sean killed him a day before his wedding. Jamal killed him while he was in handcuffs. Mike killed him while he had his hands up. Kamani, Ramali, Phillip, Alton, about 3 Kevins, about 2 Jordans. John, Laquan, Bathon, Stephon, Tony, Tamir, Elijah, Antoine, Isel, Terrell, Dontre, Akai, George. For him, set the country on fire. Timothy, Patrick, Paul, Tyree, Quintonio, Darius, Jeremy, William, Anthony, Dante, Oscar, Kendrick, Keith, David, Walter, women like Sandra, Betty, Rihanna, India, Michelle, Tatiana, Tanisha, Rika, Natasha, Pamela, Janet, Megan, baby Ayana. All that we lost, your name live on. Wasn't killed by a cop, but I can't forget Trayvon. Can't forget Emmett, and all of those we lost to the beast. No justice, no peace.
All right, here we go. All right, hello everyone.
Hey.
First show back since I abandoned the crew to take a trip down to the island of Barbados, and I'm back. Preach, what's up, brother?
Hey.
Desi, what's going on?
Wapnin Yadi.
Tanya, what's going on, sister?
Hi, welcome back.
All right. Today our topic is going to be interracial dating. I said to Desi at the end of the show, I hope he's still married. But we're not coming at it from that angle. We just basically, why does it bother people? You know, we all wish. I think we all know why it bothers some people, but we're going to explore it. Each of us are going to have our own different angles to interracial dating. We have different point of views, and we want people to chime in. Also, I'm going to put our link in the chat if you want to chime in. And this is with any show we do. We welcome people to jump on did it go in? Yes, there it is. It's in the chat. So if you want to click on that link and you have something to say about interracial dating, or if you're a regular listener or watcher of our show and you want to jump in, just click on the link and we will gladly add you to our panel. No swearing, nothing rude. We don't do that, so we don't expect people that jump in to do that. So, you know what I mean? Nothing vulgar, that kind of stuff. You know, just have a good point of view and we can roll with that. So we're going to talk about interracial dating. Have you done it? Are you for it? Are you against it? You don't give a shit? What is your point of view? And why does it bother people? Why? Because I've done shows with white women, and before the show, if there's a restaurant in the comedy club or close to the comedy club, or if it's staying at a hotel, we'd go grab something to eat. I'll call her up and say, "Hey, you want to go grab something to eat before the show?" And then we go. And most of the white women that I was having dinner with were shocked at the looks we were getting. It's almost like they had no idea that this kind of thing existed. But I knew, I was expecting it. And I guess we as Black people, we're always looking for it. So I don't know if that's why we see it more, but she just noticed how people were staring at her and me, just two people having dinner.
People having jungle fever.
We're going to explore that today, and I'm sure, like I said, everyone's going to have their own point of view. Desi should be an expert. But how long have you been married to your snow queen, Desi?
We have been married. Let's see. It's been about 7-8 years now.
About 7-8 years. Now, you and I were chatting before we came on the air, and we both agree that men go for someone that's going to make them happy, someone that's fun. I don't know. I can't speak for other men, but I know me personally, I go for a personality. If a woman has a fun personality and she's charming and funny and witty, and I'm drawn into that. But I know there's some people out there that believe that if that black men look specifically for a white woman, or a white woman looks specifically for a black man, and it's all about passion and sex. I mean, you have to live with this person. This is a person you're going to have to live with. So if you're going in to a person just because they're black or white or Asian, that's going to wear off pretty soon.
Right.
So I think for me, I know I look for someone that's fun. And if that person had turned out to be white, honestly, I might have to give it some serious thought, because I love to be able to get along with a family when I'm in it. And to be sitting at a Thanksgiving table, and I'll be sitting there wondering, okay, who here doesn't like me? And that's something that I always think about. But Desi, you can speak to that more than I can. And what are your thoughts on interracial dating, marriage, the whole?
All right, thanks, Carl. A lot to unpack here. You touched on a lot of different subjects very well. And I'm just going to start by setting the table, and then I'll try to circle back to some of the things you said. We know that 26% of black women are married. Of that 26%, over 90% of black women marry black men. Black men marry black women about 86%. So we're really close. Because a lot of the things that you hear from black women is that every successful black man goes for a white woman. And if you look at athletes and celebrities, that's part of what we call confirmation bias. So if you feel something about something, if you feel that all black men go with white women, every time you see it, you're going to say, yep, there it is. See, I told you. You're just confirming. You ignore the 10 people that are the same race, and you just focus on that different race. So we got to be conscious of that. Just so you know, 80% of divorces are filed by women. So not to make it a man-woman thing, but just so we understand. So number one, what I look for, I actually studied this because I wanted to be right on point. Men, the first thing they look for is cooperation. They want someone who they can get along with, they can talk to, and they can build. Because besides the physical, which everyone seems to think that black men are focused on, we need something else besides that. We need someone who is friendly, feminine, submissive, cooperative, and fit, and hopefully has a low body count.
Did you say submissive?
Yes.
We're gonna move on, but you got some explaining to do.
Yes.
He said you got some explaining to do.
Explaining.
Submissive. Okay.
So as a man, what you do is, you know, your life. I can only speak for men and what I'm going to do. My life is short. My first marriage was a black woman. We had a great relationship. Things didn't work out. She wasn't submissive? She was pretty submissive, but she was submissive to everybody on the block. So I'm joking. She'll cut me. No. No. What I'm saying is, once I was single again, I was at a way higher financial status. I owned my house. I had accomplished a lot. I was like maybe in my 30s. And so what I did was, every man goes through this phase where they date everybody. And as a man, most men, I don't think, discriminate based on race. They're looking for someone to have a relationship with. When you find that person, if they happen to be a race that you didn't anticipate, then you have some decisions to make. And I actually made a logical choice. So what I did was I started researching my wife's background. I had to find out about her religion. I found out about her family. I talked to all her family members, and I was very upfront because just like you said, I didn't want to be at the Thanksgiving table and go for a piece of turkey and someone stab me with a fork or something, and then say, "Oh,
hey, the watermelons over there. The watermelons.
yeah, the watermelons at the back table."
Yeah.
So yeah. So luckily, so because I was so open and honest about it, my wife was open and honest about it. So we were able to kind of have an understanding, because the fear is that once you get married and then you realize, some people get married and then they realize they're married to someone who doesn't mesh with them. So when it comes to, because we have separate cultures, it makes our relationship better because we have to explain things to each other. When you have two Black people that are together, you assume they know what your culture is. But my first wife, she came from a working class environment. I came from a middle class environment. We actually had more clashes than with my wife because me and my wife now, we're both middle class. We're just different races. But we have to talk about things. And if you're a good communicator, and you know I can babble, but if you're a good communicator, it makes the relationship that much higher, because like I'll put on a song like Dougie Fresh and I'll start doing the moves, and then I'll explain like, this is what we used to do. If you wanted the party to jump off, you had to do this dance, you know. And then I'll make fun of her, like do hold downs and stuff like that. But we have a good, and with her family, we've talked. I mean, at one point, one of her aunts asked me, like, do I have shame or like whatever about her family? And that came out.
What do you mean? Like, do you have shame?
Kind of like, she kind of was like certain. What happened is my wife is not only is her family's from Denmark and like Eastern European. She's Jewish, so Jewish people have certain celebrations. Like they'll have a celebration. It's called Purim, and in Purim or whatever, they take a cookie and it's shaped like a general, and they bite off his head, because what happened was the Jewish people were getting persecuted, and this one general who had a funny shaped hat, he was the main one attacking them. So what they do is, to show that they're defiant and that they haven't given up, they bite off his head as part of this Jewish tradition. So when they gave me the cookie, I said, well, I got to do research because I don't know who that guy is. Yeah. Maybe he looked just like me. And so you got to understand history. You got to understand context. You can't just go along with rituals without understanding. Of course, I had no problem with that, but you do what you do, but I'm going to do what I do. And so sometimes I won't do certain rituals because that's not who I am or whatever. So I'm kind of all over the place, but I basically said what men value, and I'm the same way. I looked around, found out who fit my criteria, and took it from there. And luckily, go ahead.
So you basically, when you first saw your wife, you didn't think to yourself, man, I need me a white woman.
No. Actually, what happened? Let me tell you a quick story before that. I had a college friend that was a girl that was white, and she was a college friend. So when she graduated college, she got a new car. She picked me up to go for a ride. Now we're just friends. So now we go for a ride. We're going around town. So we stop at a sandwich place to get something to eat. The girl behind the cash register was black. So because it's my friend's new car, let me pay because I'm treating you, celebrate your new car. She orders her meal. I order my meal. And then like the change was like $4.36. So the black girl behind the counter goes, and $4.36 is your change, brother.
Really?
I started cracking up because I knew she was angry that I was with my friend. Yeah. But I was laughing more because it's just my friend and I could care less what other people think. But I was talking to my sister specifically because I have sisters and I have nieces, and they don't fit what some men categorize as black women, being hard to work with, sassy, and all that other stuff. So I was asking my sister, why do you think you're not like the stereotypic black woman? And she said, because there's a stereotype out there, so I have to work against the stereotype. And so just like Black men, we have all these stereotypes on us, and so we have to work against it. Like when you go in the store, you make sure that you conduct yourself properly and you use the proper English and you conduct yourself with dignity. Women have it that much more because the woman's protector is the Black man, and their fear is that the Black men are not finding value in the Black woman and they're looking somewhere else. But and that could be some truth to that. I don't know. All I know is my experience is that I'm looking for someone that is cooperative, friendly, submissive, doesn't have a high body.
Submissive.
Yeah, I mean, we go back and forth.
When you say submissive, like give me an example of submission. Do you like hear the newspaper?
Here's an example. My neighborhood is kind of an affluent neighborhood, and we've had a lot of cars getting stolen out of people's yards. And so one person on their Ring camera had someone walk in their garage with a gun in hand. So I'm like, look, I told my wife, I have a concealed carry. Now's the time to make sure that everything is up to, like I have and she's against guns, she's against all of that. But I said, look, my job as the man is to protect. I provide. I'm the pastor. I'm the.
Sorry, I'm laughing because Aaron Francis just wrote submissive in like 15 question marks.
Yep.
Who did?
Karen Francis.
Oh, I'm surprised. My wife is watching. Hi, honey. I love you very much. Yes, I'm kidding.
And you allowed her to watch, right, Desi?
Oh, it doesn't work like that. You're taking Mrs. just like she knows that my goal is to make sure that our family is right and that we are doing the right thing. She has to trust me to make the decision. We make decisions together. Hey, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? I get her input, but the final decision is mine because I'm the one who's ultimately responsible for the family, and she allows that. So if that's submissive, then that's submissive. In that, like I said, we talk about things, and if she felt strongly enough against something that I wanted to do,
so you're like the Jackie Gleason of your house. Bang, dude. Daryl, we gotta go to preach. We're talking about interracial dating, and like I asked, why does it bother some people? And I know we seem to be thinking in terms of black and white, but you don't see a lot of. I think there's even a problem, which I can't speak to, but I've heard of Chinese not dating Japanese and Koreans not dating, Chinese. So it's not, we can just don't think in terms of.
I understand the Chinese Japanese part because Japan invaded China and was
underwater again. Preach. Yeah.
Underwater again.
Yeah.
No.
So Tanya, we're gonna go to you and then we're gonna go back to preach. Yeah, Tanya. Why are black women so difficult to date?
Well, I knew you were going to what is next, okay? No, so here's the thing, Des, I totally get what you're saying when you say it's submissive. I would normally in my normal head, if I didn't know you, I would take it in. What you mean submissive? But I totally understand because, excuse me, I have allergies. My neighbor is burning fire in the backyard and it's coming right to my window. So forgive me, guys. I have allergies that are going to kill me right now. It's literally like smoke in my house. But a man's, well, okay, if we go from a traditional stance, how about that? Most women would like a protector. And so in that being said, yeah, they probably would overall guide the decisions. Maybe not make like my mother and father. My father was really in charge, but it always looked like my mother was. So, but my father really made the final decisions. You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying when you say submissive. Black women as a whole, I can't speak for all of them. I can only speak for myself that, there is times I've been told people say stuff like we're too aggressive and we're too, what's the word? We're too, what is it? What do they tell us? What's the stereotype?
Sassy.
Oh, now that one is right, because here's the thing. Okay, to get through this life as a black woman, you must be a little sassy. You gotta have a little hot sauce in your bag. Okay, you gotta have because there's things that come up and people want to try you and try to play you. And if you're like, okay, no problem. Okay. You know what time it is. It's going to be playtime. And sometimes we're not into the game. So you might get, like with me, I'm very known for, what's the word? Sassy. If you come at me the wrong way. And
the
other one's hysterical.
Sassy, like Valona from Good Times, would be considered sassy, or Florence from the Jeffersons. Is that?
Throw a little bit more wit on it, because if I'm sassy, I'm also throwing a lesson in at you. So, like I had a boss once that said, he told me he wanted me to get back to work. I was talking. So a young white guy, young 25-year-old white guy, he was like, get. And I looked at him, I said, "Wells, massa, I reckon it's time to get back to work." And he fired me for saying that.
Right, really?
So that's the kind of sassy I am. I'm sassy to the response or whatever it is. If you're trying to not dominate me, I don't care about that. If you're trying to belittle me or, belittle me as a Black woman or as a woman or as a human being, that's when I get sassy. And most Black women, if they get sassy, it's because either they interpreted what you said wrong, or they are like me, trying to defend their moment or whatever's happening. I don't usually see a Black woman just walk out of her face and be like, yeah, let me tell you something. It's very rare. Even my most hoodiest of hood chicks have a reason why they're being hood at the moment that they're being, you know what I'm saying? It's like if we want to stereotype. So with that being said, I don't take what you said, Des, as a thing. If it was another man saying it, I might be like, what you say? What you say about wait, sister's got I would be very tired. But because I know I'm getting to know what your nature is like, and you came from the stance of as being a protector and that you've already worked that out with your situation, who am I to say, no, you can't be that way? I mean, that's silly when I don't like to put my stuff on other people's stuff. For my relationships, I like 50-50, but I am old school like you in the sense I want my man to be a man. Like I don't care what color he is, but he best to be a man. He has to be a man. He has to know how to take charge when needed. And I gotta have a say. So it's not like, oh yes, whatever. It's not that kind of party. But I understand I'm an old school woman. Men are born in their head to protect, to procreate, to provide and to go look and figure things out. That's what they do. That's by their nature, by their DNA code. It became something else later. So I don't get all, and the reason why I haven't interracial dated in a while, but I don't mind if, and this is a big if they are culturally educated, if they're culturally educated, and like you said, Des, their family is not I'm not there for no shock blocks. I don't do shocks. I don't do like I don't do that. I don't do that at all.
Let me ask you this, Tanya. Me and you are dating, and you're having car trouble, and you say, "Oh, I got to go to mechanic." Me as a man would say, "Tanya, give me your car keys, give me your information. I'm going to deal with the mechanic for you because I know that women have a harder time." And that's the way it is. And that's the spirit of which I'm doing. There's certain things that women have an advantage of, and I don't mind my other taking the lead on that. But there's certain things that my wife, she works all kind of hours. And so she has to be at work at 4 a.m. I get up, and I walk her to her car. I start her car because I'm the man. I'm the protector. I can't let her.
That's so sweet.
But I can't let her get out in the middle of the night. And so, but I could see a Black woman kind of saying, "Yeah, why are you doing all that? You don't have to do all that for me." You know what I mean?
I don't know what Black woman but all my sisters that I know would be like, "Here you go, but where's the keys? Here you go. And by the way, you want to put this in there? You want to do that too while you're at it?" My mother was that. Open the door for me, hold the car door, start the car. My father was like that. She didn't even have to ask for that. That's just what, in my opinion, that's what an old school man is. You're right. He's everything. He like wants to lay out the red carpet for you, pretty much. Right. Now some women choose like, "No, honey, it's okay, I got it." But that's okay. That's their choice. But for me, I like old school. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm in a different league. Women are going to be very, very pissed off at me. They're like, what? But it's okay because I say do what's best for you. For me, I just say if a man is a man and has gahanas, you have to have a lot, especially if I'm interracial dating, you have to have a lot of gahanas.
Desi, Karen Francis wants to know if you did the same thing for your black wife.
Of course.
He did.
Yeah. Outside, you gave her a piece of stick and a rock or something. And go outside and fend for yourself.
Boy, you black. We know you can fight.
Yeah. And someone said, she said that you have been attracted to another race. I've dated all kinds of guys. See, what happened was, I used to model in the 80s. Now,
Tanya, did you go for a guy because he was white or just, I mean,
or not? And I was going to explain to you why.
Yeah.
So in the 80s, when I modeled, I don't know if anybody knew how Paris was in the 80s. It was thriving for black women. I mean, we were like gold, like everyone, the fashion industry, anywhere we went, it was like gold. And it was the first time that I was like, oh my God, except for my home, that I was like gold. You know what I'm saying? At home, my dad's like, oh, look at my beautiful daughter. I mean, all day long. But when you get outside your house, you kind of knew that you weren't the it girl of the moment, especially being beautiful brown like me. I knew I wasn't the it girl, although I always thought in my head that I was. But when I got to Paris, it was like, when I tell you the guys were like, it was like 20 guys for one, instead of like for you guys now, how like you guys 20 girls for one, for a black woman in Paris. I mean, literally, I was flighting them off. Like, all right, no, Giuseppe, no, France, no. I mean, literally. And that was the first time I had so many multiple choices and so many gorgeous men. So I started interracially dating because, I did it before that, didn't I? Did I try it once before that? Well, I know in high school, I liked a guy, but I never dated him. But I liked the guy, and because he didn't have any gahanas. So I would, in high school, I wouldn't date you if you were the opposite because you don't have no guts to stand up for me. And when people look and just be like, okay, who cares? If you're not that type of person, I'm not going to date you anyway, whether that's 12 or 50. So Paris really was the groundwork where, because I was making so much money, I didn't see any brothers around. And the ones that I did were like either, I don't know, what was it? I really wasn't around a lot, honestly, in the fashion industry, except unless they were makeup artists and gay or like designers and gay. They didn't like me because I was a skinny black girl. I was really skinny. And then when I went to Paris model, they made me shave my hair off to really short. That Grace Jones look was the thing, I guess. I don't know. They really didn't like me. And in high school, I had a few black boyfriends who were my favorite. One looked just like Denzel. Oh my God, he was so fine. My favorite boyfriend, actually. But I never made a pick and said, let me go find myself a white guy. It was just when I was in Paris and it just so happened to be, that's all you see. So I was like, well, either you're never going to date or you got to think out the box. So I started thinking out the box. I met a nice Italian guy. We dated for 2 years, and then we got engaged. And then only reason why we didn't get married because I decided I wanted to be back in New York, and he wanted to stay in Europe. He wanted to go back to Europe. He didn't like it here at all. He was like, they're racist, and I don't know how you deal with this.
Yeah. Preach. Why does it bother people? And should you go with your own race or should you go with, I know you've seen both sides of this because I think you've had the black and the white.
I've actually was married to a black woman, but
Yes.
I did date.
And
I did date a couple of white women at one point in time, and I have two brothers. Like I have three brothers. Two of us married black women. Two of us married white women. And actually, the both of us that married black women ended up divorced, and the ones that married white women, those marriages lasted longer, and especially, and one was being abused, and she actually left and came back to him. Before they were eventually divorced. But it's almost like some of the stereotypes that white women will put up with more is kind of true, or it seems to pan out that way. That's what it seems like.
So you can get away with more with a white woman than you can with a black woman.
That's one of the stereotypes. I don't know if that's 100% true.
I actually had a white friend that he would get drunk at like his buddy's house and sleep over and like say he's gonna and he would call his wife up, say, honey, I'm so and so's out, I'm gonna spend the night. I could not do that.
I know that's right. I'd be like, back before the sunshine, don't come back.
Go ahead, but I mean,
He's like, what's her name? Huh?
Yeah.
What's her? It'd be like the Jake from State Farm commercial. Yeah. Well, what are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Yeah. Pick up the phone, tell him, yeah, I'm here at Preacher's house. I'm a little tipsy. I think I'll spend the night.
What are you wearing, Mister Preach? Is like, yeah, okay. No, I'm really a man. I'm right here. Yeah. No, but actually, my black wife, she was uber paranoid.
He said, always... Did you say my black wife?
My black wife. My black wife. Letting people know. If I said my wife, they go, was she white? But no, I'm letting you know. I had a black wife. She was a black woman, yes. And she was a little feisty. And she was a lot feisty. And she had some issues, a lot of issues.
Yeah.
But that's not to say all black women have issues. I'm sure there are some that, you have issues of all kinds of races.
Exactly.
One of my brothers who married a white woman, his wife cheated on him because she wanted him to work. And he made sure they had the home. She had the pool in the backyard. And then her reasoning was, well, you're never here. You're always working. It's like, yeah, I'm working to provide for you. So while I'm working, providing for you, you went off and cheated. So
Right.
How's that work? So you don't want the stuff that I'm providing for you. You want me to be around, but then you don't get the stuff. So then you complain about that. So it's like that's a whole different issue.
But
I have nieces and nephews, like, that are mixed races, and I love them just the same. I didn't say, oh, because you're half white, I only love the black part. Like, that would be ridiculous. That would be totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
One of my nephews and I, we became, actually, this was hit from him. He said this, he goes, hey, we're stab buddies, because he was in a nightclub where he got stabbed in the side. And then when I got stabbed, he was like, hey, now we're wound buddies, he said. So, we get along. Yeah, I mentioned the stabbing again.
But I
slipped that in there.
I mean,
Don't worry, I didn't mention about zombies yet.
If there's a major difference between black and it seems to me that white women or white people in general seem to want to go to therapy, work things out. Hey, can we talk about this? And the white dude will go out and get another one pregnant, and they'll find a way to work it out. You know what I mean? There's no way you're gonna go out and get another one pregnant and then come home to your, as you said, Preach, your black wife and say,
Actually, I don't know about that.
But you have to cooperate
on that.
It hasn't been a long time though.
Huh?
It hasn't been a long time that in the United States, blacks and whites were allowed to marry. It wasn't until 1967 when it was Loving was their name versus the state of Virginia.
Yes.
In 1967 went to the Supreme Court. So 1967 is not that long ago. That's about 50 something years, 53 years.
It goes back further than that. I found out. I mean, the history of it. They were
doing it, but I'm saying to actually take it to court where they had to fight for the right to be married, and they took it to the U.S. Supreme Court where they finally said, okay, interracial people can be married.
Yeah, but look, I got to look up the exact year, but I'm telling you, I just found this out watching a documentary today that even in Kansas, was it Kansas? There was a time where I don't know how it happened, but they were getting along and there was mixed couples and everything was fine until they discovered that white women like black men, and then it became a problem. That's when they enacted that law that you can't be saying people and all that stuff. And then it got unenacted around that time. And that's when the racism set in. But it goes back, black and interracial dating and the fetish of it all goes back to the 1800s, 1854 in England, where there was this couple, what's her name? Arthur and Hannah. I cannot remember the last name. I have to look it up. But they, okay, ready? You ready for this? They were actually a couple that liked to role play. Okay. And they used to do, well, we would call it S&M. That's what I would call it, but don't let me tell it. They would role play, and the wife would act like the poor slave and put on these garments that are like slavery-like-ish. And then he would put on blackface and it was really crazy. If you look it up, there's a documentary on it. and it's about 1854 in England is where it started, where the expedition guys, you know, when they would go to Africa for expeditions, they would go and be like, wow, look at these women, they're gorgeous. And so, you know, the tribal dances would be done and all this other crap. So they were doing their thing then. Okay. How it went left was when they got ordered not to be having sex with the slaves or whatever they want to call help or whatever they called it at the time. And so they found out that white women were like, hey, what about him over there? And then that became a thing. So they were like, oh, hell no, we can't have this. So that's where all these rules came to place. That it started out with them doing these, and they actually called it, what do they call it? During the Victorian time was a more exciting when Britain took over Zimbabwe. Kenya, Uganda soldiers were excited to go on sex safaris, they called it. Okay, they have power. Only difference, they have power over the people that they're going to. So that to me, I still call it rape, but don't let me tell it. I mean, they're trying to, you know, when their history tells it, they're trying to tell it like, yeah, you know, these women were willing. And I said, some of them girls were 14. I don't think so. That's called molester. That's what that's called. So it goes back farther, is the point I'm making, farther than we think about. Interracial relations goes back farther, and it only became tainted and taboo when they realized that white women actually were loving black men. That's when it became taboo. Before that, nobody cared on it. Not cared, but they didn't really. As long as you keep it quiet, you know, you want to go with the sister on the low, whatever. It became a problem when white women were like, "Oh, look at Carl. He's kind of charming. I don't know. I might have to take his chain off of him."
One of the things we got to consider, though, is that the ancient world considered the African to be the most attractive, in that if you look at Greek pottery, when they sell perfume, they would put an Ethiopian on the bottle because that was the level of beauty that they thought everyone would aspire to. So now what happens is once racism comes in around the 1400s, they switch everything and they make everything that looks European the standard of beauty.
Yes.
And what we're seeing now is that everyone is defining beauty for themselves, and they're borrowing from other things that they see are beautiful. Like I think you'll see a lot of people doing lip fillers, and we'll see women showing off their bums now.
Yes.
And before they used to be embarrassed. They used to be embarrassed if they had a bubble or a bigger butt. And now,
well, actually, that's not. They had the hoop skirts, and that was to kind of emphasize their derriere. You know, so they had skirts that were designed to, you know, so you couldn't see it, but like, look, we're trying to make it look like she has a very large derriere.
Cinch the waist in with a puller thing that you have to. I put one of those on before for a fashion show, and they literally suck you in and make your waist look like this big. It's crazy what they used to go through.
But for a while in the 90s, it was thin. Thin was the only thing people wanted. And now we're seeing that people are embracing curves and everything like
that. Only certain people, Des. Because if the elite still are not, that's like, ooh, to them. You know what I'm saying? So if you get what I'm saying, if the people that are still a little bit got a racist going on, that's not cute to them to see the butt and all that stuff. And remember this, the butt and the small waist it kind of traumatized my thoughts on it, because now remember the slave that was used in the auction and they was to poke her butt, and that's exactly like Kim Kardashian's body shape is how she was shaped, except she was African slave, and they used to prod her and say, look, this is a good one, look at her. See, it was saying that we were, you know, good stock, although I mean also goes along with what they used to do to us. That's another story, but it's not. I don't know where all of a sudden it became a thing now. I mean, we have what we have because of our ancestry from Africa, but I'm not going to go buy an ass. Excuse my French.
So let's turn the tables, Carl.
Yeah.
If you went back to Barbados, and you had a wife that looked like an American white woman or something, how would you be treated over there?
Like a king. God, man, you good girl. She's beautiful, man. Look at her.
I mean, I like the Bajan public, the Caribbean public. In Barbados, it's a very touristy island. So I would say, and I know anybody that knows Barbados, in Barbados, the Bajan public love white people.
Yes.
Oh,
Because when they see white people, they see right.
dollar signs.
They treat white people better than they treat actual black people from Barbados.
Yeah.
So there's no, oh, he's with a white woman. Wow, he's with a white woman.
Yeah.
You know, that is a large majority, but it's not the entire. It's not the entire island, because there are a lot of people from Barbados who are, as you would say, woke, and they are aware of the history of slavery and how people are treated in America, and they're just not having it. But the majority of people in Barbados are, because you've got to remember, Barbados, I know this is going off topic, Barbados is the island where slaves were sent to and taught how to worship their masters. And once they trained how to worship, right, right, Desi?
That's the word again. There's Desi's word.
So once they were trained how to serve their masters, then they were sent to America or Jamaica. But Barbados was the college of teaching slaves how to. If you had a slave, like Jamaican slaves were the most misbehaved. Like they were the ones that always started a revolution. Always start anytime there's a slave revolution, it was Jamaicans started it. That's and then once the other islands started hearing, hey, they're fighting in Jamaica for their freedom, then all the other islands started. But Barbados slaves are like, no, don't fight. Just the white man. You got to listen to the white man. No, don't fight the white man. That was the mentality, and in my opinion, it still permeates throughout the island.
Absolutely. Now, what I can say here in the United States, I just today I went to Newport, Rhode Island. Now I'm there with my wife and my 3 kids. We're walking through a park, and a white guy says to me and my wife, "You are a beautiful family. You should be the poster child for Newport." And me and my wife were like, "Thank you," but how the world has changed, because I would think like 20 years ago, you'd have to be prepared for some kind of slick comment.
Right. Exactly.
And he was very complimentary, total stranger.
That's nice. That's nice. Well, he must have saw that you was really in love and you wasn't just trying to
you weren't just pimping. You
love.
So
Okay.
let me correct the record online, because my wife sent me the definition of submissive.
Oh.
So she is watching.
Yeah.
Okay. So her definition is to be submissive is to obey or yield to someone else. When you are submissive, you submit to someone else's will, which literally you put your own desires lower than theirs.
Oh, okay.
That means she trusts you. Is that what she's saying? She trusts you, and she trusts you to make the right decisions.
Or was that the wrong one?
She probably don't agree with me using the word submissive, but the word I use specifically is praise. And praise is an acronym, which means P is to publicly acknowledge the relationship. It's all done in public view. R is respect. My wife can say I am the queen, but she'll say that is the king. And talk and actions, acceptance. So my wife, I accept her, she accepts me. That's willingness to tolerate difficult or unpleasant situations. That's acceptance.
I get when you say submissive, I'm sure you mean like 2 o'clock in the morning and you hear like a rattling downstairs, right? She's gonna go submit. She's gonna be submissive and allow you to go downstairs.
you get the bat.
Yeah,
you take the bat.
I was thinking more like if he heard something downstairs and he said, "Honey, I'm gonna grab my gun and go downstairs. You go in the closet." That she would just do it instead of saying, "Why are you going in the closet? Why can't I go with you?"
She's not. Yeah, she's not gonna fight that.
Also, I think like when I use the acronym praise or whatever, but part of it is that I get input. I'm willing. I treat her as an equal. I see her as being intelligent and able to give me information just as much as I'm able to gather myself. But certain things, the ultimate responsibility is me. So I got to make sure that we're good, because I don't want to be the kind of man saying, "Well, you said it was okay and you did," and then turn out that it didn't. It was a failure. If something fails in our relationship, I am responsible. Ultimately, I'm responsible, and that's what I mean.
Yeah. All right, let me go back and read some that Donna Haygood said.
Where are you reading these? I haven't seen them.
She said, "What the hell did I just watch? After all that you lived."
With the police guy in the police car. Yeah. I was like,
yeah, he lived, Donna. Donna, he actually lived through that. We were watching it in amazement. Also, he lived. He told him he had a loaded gun, and he said he threatened to shoot him. Right, and then he drove away.
Oh, that's nothing. I saw one better.
He didn't get tased. He didn't get shot. He didn't get hit with a billy club. Nothing.
No, there's one better than that, where the white guy literally is, I think he's high or something. And the family member saying, just listen to the police, just listen. He's like, F you. And he's like, I'm going to get you. And the guy takes the police billy club and starts beating the cop. And he's like, will you stop that? We gotta arrest you. And he's like, F you. I mean, he's doing everything wrong. They get him on the ground. He tries to bite them. It takes a long time.
Let me see. Tell me if this is the one.
Did you see the one?
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? You don't have to be racist to call spade a spade. I am not racist. But if you watch this video properly, take your time, you're going to see the problem with what's going on in these streets. 2 minutes. You're going to see a back and forth, a bunch of back and forth with a civilian. The question that I would like to ask is it he has the complexion for the protection? Is it his epidermis that is allowing him to not get killed, not get shot? I mean, he did everything illegal to give them the right to shoot him, to tase him. And at no point did they tase him or shoot him. They were so composed. They maintained a level of composure even when he took the baton and whipped them with it. Used a rock in his hand as a weapon. And at no point did they feel as though he was a threat to their life, where they had to use deadly force at no time, even when they're being slapped in the face with a baton.
You're gonna get in trouble.
Now, answer me this question, ladies and gentlemen. If this was a darker shade of melanin, if this was a brother from another mother, would he have survived? 10 seconds go by, 15 seconds go by. How many bullet holes would have been in this car? I'm done. You make the judgment. This is America.
Wow. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they talk about a hail of bullets. There would have been a hail of bullets.
Jerry's like, I'm out.
Yeah. I know we went left on that, but that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Jerry was showing his arse.
Yeah.
Did you see the video with the guy?
Literally and figuratively.
Huh? What'd you say?
The guy has a machete and he's chasing the policeman.
Mm-hmm.
And the policeman is running around like, stop.
Yeah. It's like, oh, now you know how to use a talk down method, but you couldn't for somebody that is called on a suicide call or, die by cop call. You couldn't do it for a black guy. You shot him when they called for about mental illness, but you can talk down this guy. I don't understand it. Doesn't make sense.
Well, we understand it. We know, we're considered 3/5 of a human. They don't see us as fully human. You see how, I've been in a car with a white friend and we got pulled over by the police, and how friendly the police was until he saw me. You know what I mean? It's just a change, It's just a total change. And I don't think anything, I know that we're talking about interracial dating, but I think this all has to do with it as to why some people would never date interracially, because of how differently we are treated. And that's why I showed those videos in the beginning. It's not all about, black and white, don't date black or don't date white. Is that would a white woman be able to understand a black man coming home and talking about stories like that? You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of people say, that they can't relate to us. White women can't relate to us. White men can't relate to what black women go through. And that's their reasoning for saying that we shouldn't date. But I'm sure Desi and other people have a different, and Tanya have a different point of view, that maybe that's how we learn about each other. You know what I mean? That you can, I'm sure Desi can help his wife understand. I'm sure if Desi, if you were white and your wife and you guys are walking in Newport, no one would have said to you, "You're a beautiful family and you should be the face of," right? You think that guy?
Probably not.
I'm sure he said that because he felt like he needed to say or make you feel welcome.
Right.
He wanted to be welcome in Newport.
Let me put it to you this way. My wife went to my mother and asked her for help to learn how to make collard greens the way my mom makes them. And my mother and my wife sat down and went through it step by step. And so that shows you the level of understanding that someone is willing to go through, where not to make a comparison, because everyone is special, everyone does things, but someone black might automatically assume, I know how to make collard greens, he'll love mine. Right. But for my wife to go to the extra step and go to my mother and say, because I remember hearing Jada Smith did that to Will Smith's mom and asked her how to cook the things that he liked. Right. And so that shows you it's a level of understanding, and there's not a different power dynamic, white, black, or anything else. That's if you have that kind of relationship, then color, like I hate to use a cliche, but color really isn't that big of a factor when you have people who are willing to communicate and work together to make a relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Actually, that's an important point, because, all right, so my brother John, he tells people he married his wife because she was the one that supported him through everything he went through. At one point he was in a gang for a couple of years, but she was always there supporting him no matter what he went through, and she stood by his side. He goes, that's why I married her. It wasn't a color thing. The level of support she gave me, she helped me work through my problems.
She was helping him sell crack.
Stuck with her. Huh?
She was helping him sell crack.
It wasn't that kind of gang then.
Well, what were they selling back then?
Graffiti.
I don't know what they were selling back then.
Okay. All right. Is she driving the getaway car?
Well, yeah. Go ahead. Preach.
Go ahead, preach. Sorry.
But she was. There was a level of support, and he said he dated black women, but they didn't support him like she supported him. And ultimately, he ended up marrying with her and having 2 kids. So that's a level of support. Like Des says, someone that supports you, that gives you that what you need, what's missing, that's what he's looking for.
Right. It's not always race. Go ahead, Tanya.
And Des, you had a good point, and you just said a good point. At the end of the day, here's the thing about relationships. It doesn't matter what color someone is. If that person is not able to meet you where you left off in your childhood, or they do, that would make it bad or good or divorced or not. So when you said that you grew up in a middle-class family and your wife did too, you both have some values that are just set there. They're set. Right. You don't have to teach her. She doesn't teach you. You don't have to say, okay, oh no, don't spend this, spend that. Don't. You have that basic understanding is there. Now you can work on the rest of the parts. You know what I'm saying? But oftentimes I find relationships, and especially if someone, if a brother doesn't want to date me, that's on him. I feel like it's a big loss on his part. And so it's perfectly fine. I no longer when I was younger, I was like, what? Oh no, you didn't. But as I got older and wiser, I said, ooh, let him miss out. That's on him. Because at the end of the day, I mean, who was always a side chick? But anyway, not me, but just in general. I was like, but your side chicks is who? Right. That's irrelevant, but it really goes back to your childhood. So if you don't have if the values are not there, like let's say if I had a bad childhood and I'm going to probably attract a mate that's going to feed me the same thing I got in that childhood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Unless I've had therapy and I've worked on myself And then once I've done that, well, I'll pick a different partner because I'm coming from a different mental level. So race only plays a part when, like, okay, when my daughter's father, I never even thought race was not even an issue because he's Jewish, but he's raised a Quaker in Brooklyn, and he used to hang out with the project kids. So and it's funny because here's the difference. I was a foster kid and lived in the group homes, whatever, the orphanage, whatever, before I was 7. But when I came up to Bedford at 7, a whole nother life, whole nother thing. So at some point, that didn't work out because, you know, there's just certain things you do in the suburb that you don't do in the city. There's certain things you do if you're in a 2-parent household and siblings that you happen to like and have good relationships with. Even the arguing is healthy because it teaches you how to negotiate. Right. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have that and you get a partner who's used to being in your face or not in your face and just sitting back saying, okay, yes, no, those things play a role. And it doesn't matter. The color only comes in when it comes to, like I said, my guy has to have gahanas. So if we go into a restaurant and we know someone's being shady to us, we made reservations. My guy will say, well, we made reservations, so you don't have a table for us? And we just saw 3 other people go before us. My guy would say, listen, thank you. We're just gonna go somewhere else. Because we're not dealing with that. We don't do that. So if you staring, you keep staring because we're gonna give you something to stare for. You know what I'm saying? That's not our issue. That's your issue. You know what I'm saying? But I always prefer to have somebody brown like me only because it's one less thing I got to deal with. But if I know them already, you know, like I knew his family was cool. His family, they have no hangups. I'm not going to be at the table where they're like, so what's going on with the black world? Huh? I mean, I learned very young that there was a guy and his family was like that. And I was like, I feel really uncomfortable right now. Like I'm on trial and I'm about to fail this trial. They're about to hang me. I'm gonna give them a reason to, because I don't like being a sample. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't do white guys that do fetishes. No fetish here. I'm not gonna be the one. Sorry, hate to break the news. If you're really having a real relationship and you're looking at me because you're a guy and you really think I'm attractive and I'm a great person and I'm spectacular because I am, then no problem. No problem. It's not about the race to me. Even in the time of this race stuff going on right now, I'd be comfortable, yes, with probably somebody brown, but it doesn't make the bet off just because I'm Asian or white.
We're gonna wrap it up because time. I just want to. We talked about black women being sassy.
Oh yes.
Do you think if we were in a country where it was all black people, you think they would still be considered sassy, or we're just being black people? We just have our own personality. We just have our own way. You know what I mean? That sassy stuff.
It's a stereotype for us, and I really do hate when people do that to us. Oh, that black woman, she's just loud and she's just sassy. No, excuse me. I have Italian friends. If you go to Italy, go to Napoli and talk to some of them women out of your left ear, and you will get you'll be like, who is that? Like you think sisters is bad? I could take you to some places where I know girls that are not sisters, but they're gonna rail you worse than a sister ever would. So it's not based on color. It's from where their culture or where their family has trained them.
But it is nothing wrong with it, though. You know what I mean? It doesn't make them just different person. The only thing I can say
works in an event. Sorry, go ahead.
I have not a problem, but I had a Black American girl told me that women from the Caribbean are weak because they're not strong Black women like American women because they don't know how to get in the man's face and cuss him out. So
what?
That's a strong Black woman. If you get in your man's face and you got to poke him in the forehead with your finger, that's
sounds like she came from an abusive family.
She claimed that's a strong Black woman when you can get in a man's face.
No, because
right. And then he beats her up, right?
Well, what percentage of women agree with that?
No. Let me tell you why that's not cool in any circumstances. Any woman or man, any woman that would get up in a guy's face for any reason, because if he cheats, I say just leave him. Period. You don't need to beat him up. What are you beating him up for? That's not going to make him not cheat. It's not going to make it uncheating if you beat him up, right? So that's stupid. But if you do this to anyone, that is an agitation that just, what is wrong with you? Like that, I would never get in a man's face, because unless he was coming at me. That's another story. Like if a guy was literally like right now came out and say he's gonna start beating on me and it was abusive, or I mean, I've never dealt with that before. But if I was confronted in a horrible way. That's the other Tanya that would definitely come out. She's not having that. But just generally, my boyfriend is saying something that I don't like, or even if he cheated on me, I'm not going to hit him or put my hands on him. I'm not his mama or God. I'm not.
No, she just felt like a strong woman is a woman that would get in a guy's face.
That's absolutely not true.
So,
but this is where race isn't a factor. If you're dating someone and everything is an argument, everything is a problem, it doesn't matter if they're the same race as you or exact opposite.
Yes,
you might consider them uncooperative and not someone you want to be in a relationship with. And so what happens is everyone I've dated, they've been cooperative. They've been able to talk to and have a conversation. Now, there's people, when I say date was my girlfriend, I've gone on dates and the women displayed some of the behaviors that you guys say. And I say, good night. It was nice seeing you. And I hope you're well. And I never call or see them again because it's just too much drama for me.
Exactly. And I was going to say, I had a brother that was married to a Scottish girl lived in an affluent neighborhood. Don't even ask what happened. I was like, see, I told you she fell off of somebody's trailer, but they didn't want to believe me when I said that. But one day when she showed up and did something very, I call it, I'll just say it was really bad. You know, when you curse out children, you got a problem. Yeah. And that's kind of what she did. Glad he left her. You know, my brother's deceased now, but this woman, if you heard her, you'd be like, who is that? You know, the Compton or something. You know, you'd be like, no offense, Compton, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you'd be like, where is this from? And when you see her with her platinum blonde hair and her blue eyes, you'd be like, oh, what is going on here? So that's why I'm saying to you, color, it really don't matter because it's how you grow up or how you perceive yourself. She perceived herself, excuse the expression, as a rat. So that's how she acted. It was like a rat. Now she can be very sweet when she wants to be, but boy, let me tell you, she'll give you more problems than any black woman ever would. And my brother found that out. I told him, but he didn't listen to me. So he found out the hard way. So it doesn't really matter. Let's put it that way. It doesn't. I can name example for every color that's in a good one and a bad relationship, and it goes back to your childhood. Right. Whatever your drama is in your childhood, you're attracted to your relationship. Period. Unless you've taken the therapy and did the work, that's what's going to happen. So it won't matter if it's black or white. You're going to still be a mess. You know, if you're a mess, you're going to be a mess. Whether it's black guy, white guy, Chinese guy, doesn't matter. If you're a guy that doesn't pay child support because your values are not there, you're not going to pay child support. I know white guys who make a lot of money and say, I ain't paying you nothing. I know black guys who say, I can't give you nothing. I ain't paying you nothing. I know all kinds of guys. That's irrelevant. And I hate when people say that, oh, black guys, they're not good fathers. Well, do we want to talk about good fathers? Because I got some white ones that make a lot of money and they're not good at all. So
the only other thing I would add to that is be yourself, because to me, there's nothing more attractive than someone trying to play a role. Like if you see a person who's white, but they try and act black and they talk black, and because it's like they're doing an impression, and it always seems disingenuous. I can't stand that.
Does that happen still?
Well, not my world, but I see it. Like if you're out in public, you'll see people.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't get that. I've never had like a white guy try to be like, yo, sis, I'm saying, because I'd be like, boy, please, bye. Put your hand, bye. You know, I would do this. I'll be like this. Look.
I was pulled over and I had a white policeman that was, asked me questions, do you know why it's talking? And another white policeman came up and said, what's going on tonight, man? like
just chill and be like brother man.
The guy goes, what's going on tonight, man? And I just looked at him like, what the fuck is wrong?
I've been on a job interview and several people come in, but one of the guys, he must have grew up around black people. So as the interview's over, he was like, all right, brother, all right, I'll talk to you. And it was a white guy, and I was just like, okay, sir.
Yeah. I can see your face, Dad. You're like, oh, is this real or what? No, you can tell when it's real, when it's not. I'm so glad. One thing I can say about my daughter's father is he was true to himself. And it's funny because his grandmother told me when he was younger, He's always been like this. He ain't never veered from what he like. He always liked black girls since he was a kid, and he ain't never. I mean, I think he may have dated. He might have dated 2 white girls. I don't know, but he always stayed true to what it was. So it wasn't like a fetish. Like, oh, let me try a black girl. That's when I'm like, nah, wrong one. Because I just don't like people trying me whether you're black or white. This is not. I'm not one of those, play the dozens. Like, I'll bet you can't get that girl. I don't do that at all. So. Women, we know women, use your common sense. We know when a guy is really digging us. In my opinion, they pull out the red carpet. And when we're digging them, we walk the red carpet with our stilettos. I'm messing with you, Des.
There's a really good movie, though. You ever see A Bronx Tale? And,
Yeah.
And it's the young character, his first girlfriend. He's an Italian, grew up in an all Italian section, and his girlfriend, his first girlfriend, was black. And you saw how they treated each other with respect and mutual admiration, and how that relationship could have blossomed, but there was outside environment that caused it to. I don't want to spoil the movie, but if you haven't seen it by now,
spoiler alert! The movie is like 40 years old.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. When the guy doesn't have cojones, I don't want to say the word. You know what that means if you're Latino. If he doesn't have the guts, okay, I'll put it that way. Then it can spoil, and it does fizzle because they don't have the guts to say and stand up to the family, stand up to the friends that are making jokes, or stand up to. They don't have the guts. If they don't have the guts, I don't have the time. Quite frankly, you're not going to be in a circle of your friends and they pull you aside and make some little joke, and you're not going to defend me.
Yeah, I heard a white woman say the reason she's against interracial marriage is because the children are going to suffer.
My daughter didn't suffer. Ask her. 22 years old. She never suffered.
Yeah, I think that was just an excuse for her to be racist. To make it
seem. The thing is, you do have to make a conscious effort that they learn both cultures and they know what's going on.
And to be proud of themselves. My daughter, we had a policy before I had my second daughter. We had a policy. So when she's out in the daycare, because that's when they get, my daughter's really, really, really light. Like people used to think she was half Japanese, but she's not. And her father just has beady eyes. And so, she would be out. The kids, some of the kids, when we lived in downtown Brooklyn, some of the kids in the project used to tease her and be like, "You look like you white." And she was like, "I am half, but if you got a problem, go talk to my mama and my papa." Yeah. That was the response I told her to always give them. You never say, "Oh, I don't know." Please, no, I am. And what? What do you want me to do? Like, or the world's going to end? No. So you have to teach children that are biracial to be proud of both sides of who they are and never let other people try to make them feel small because they're dark or light or curly hair or straight hair. That's kind of how any kid has to be trained.
And don't disrespect your side and don't disrespect the other side. Now, the only thing that goes along with that is when my wife's family is cooking something, I always check to make sure that there's not a lot of mayonnaise and everything because
or raisins.
Raisins, yeah. But
he hides the raisins when they're making potato
salad.
They
are good cooks.
You know what's funny? I forgot to tell you guys. My birth grandparents, they were from Louisiana, New Orleans, and one of my aunts told me way back when, I don't know if it was during Jim Crow time, I don't know which. My mother's born in the 40s, so I don't know. But at some point, my grandfather, who I thought was white up until I did my ancestry and found out, wait a minute, his father had some Negro in him. I saw a mulatto or something on one of the forums or whatever it was. So that's how I found out. But before that, we thought he was white. And so one of my aunts said that he had to take the lighter skinned children and she took the darker skinned children that couldn't pass at some point, and that's why they moved up to New York, something to that effect. And so I was like, they had to go live separately. And they said, yeah, back then if you had kids that were passing, they had to be with the passing parent, and the other ones had to go with the dark. And I said, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. But they loved each other and they didn't care. So they did it.
See, now my mom grew up in North Carolina, and my mother's father, he had blue eyes, straight hair. My mother had straight hair, but brown eyes. They could use the white only water fountain. But my mother's family, one of 17, they went from jet black to blonde hair, blue eyed, looking white, but they were all black. So
it changes. You never know with us. Yeah. I got a little brother I'm looking for now, red hair and freckles. You never know.
Yeah.
So Go ahead.
We're gonna wrap it up today. Want to thank everyone for watching the show. Thank you, Karen Francis. You are hilarious. Yes. Karen Francis still has a problem with submissive. I
do too.
Where's the chat? I didn't see the chat. Where was it?
I like to be in charge.
It's in. You can see it on the.
Go to the top where it says comments and private chat. You got to put comments, or you want to.
Oh, okay.
I do. Yeah. Grandma Norma's out there.
Yes, Grandma Norma. Thank you so much. Grandma Norma said something. Men do the same thing the way they talk to black women.
Yes.
Talking to black men the way they talk to yo, what's up? What's up?
Yeah. There.
Yeah. Tiara Lee, that I said.
T Lee. She likes to be called Lee.
Okay, Lee. Okay. And a few others didn't get them all. But thanks to everyone for watching. Though Kevin, our brother, Lee, is on tour.
Yes.
He's traveling the country doing his stand-up comedy. He's in Arizona. That's why he's not with us today. Kevin, we love you and we miss you.
What up, Kevin?
Patricia, Kevin's other half, Kevin's better half. If you're watching, we love you. And thank you for sending it. She sent me a video about an Indian guy talking about how Indians discriminate against black people. I was trying to get to show it, but it's hard. Facebook doesn't allow you to save videos from their chat.
Of course.
I really hate that. So I wasn't able to show the video. If you can, Patricia, if you can send me the videos through WhatsApp, which is now owned by Facebook, but I can't download it from WhatsApp, but they don't allow me for some reason to download anything from. You can share it with other Facebook people, but that's about it. So if you can send me those videos on WhatsApp, I can definitely show those videos. I take notes now and I use pointers from the videos, but I would love to show the videos you sent me because they're great. With that out of the way, our topic on interracial dating. So what we've learned today, what I've learned is date who you want, but just be ready because you're in America and this is the country.
Yes.
Just be ready. That's all I'm gonna say. Just if you're gonna date interracially, just be ready. I know Dr. Umar Johnson, his take on black men dating white women is a form of self-hatred, he says, and vice versa. If a black woman dates a white man,
I've heard that.
It's a form of self-hatred. I don't think people really set out to.
Yeah, just some people.
Like a person.
Some people.
Yes.
I have seen some people who literally say, "I'm going to date a white guy because he can do more for me." I've seen that, and I've had to correct people on that. So
right.
It's a good thing.
But okay, so decent people don't set out to date someone just of the color. But if you do, know it's going to come with some repercussions and some BS. As Desi found out today in Newport, when the guy was trying to welcome Desi to Newport. We need more like you. You think he meant that? I don't know if he meant that, Desi. He probably walked away going, I hope he doesn't come back.
No, it was really nice. Hey, it worked. I was very glad to hear him say that.
I'm just playing. So any last words, Preach, on interracial dating, and any words?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, Preach.
You're on mute.
I put myself on mute because I was saying stuff about the stuff you were saying. I didn't want you to hear what I was saying about what you were saying.
All right.
No, I said if you love them, love who you love, and if they have kids, love them too. That's it.
That's it. Be proud of who you are.
Tanya, any last?
Love whoever you want to love, as long as they understand you and your culture 150%. And because it's a 50-50 street. And if you have kids, make sure you train your kids to know and love both on all sides of themselves.
And Desi?
Yes, respect is at the bottom of the line. You got to respect yourself, number one. And then you got to respect the person that you're with, no matter what color they are, and try to understand them no matter what color or religion or anything. That's how you make it. And that's how you can make it, even if it's the same race. Once you respect and take an interest and learn about the person, then you can grow and build a lifelong relationship. Again, agree with Tanya 100%. You got to make sure that both sides are explained and understood. And this is how I got to this anyway. I started studying Black-white relationships and racism, seriously studying it once I started dating my wife, because that's how I got to know all this about history, because I didn't want to feel like something that I wasn't intelligent or informed about. So I wanted to know my history and everything else. And that's how I got to where I am. So that's better.
So your wife never woke up in the middle of the night. You were standing over her, staring at her, going, "Y'all cut off Kunta Kinte's foot."
Let me tell you something.
All right. Thanks to everyone for watching the show. Like I said, shout out to Kevin, who's in Arizona.
Yeah, man.
Kevin's book is on Amazon. It's called Playing with Fire. Catch Tanya. She has a show live on Facebook and YouTube. It's called On the Town with Tanya on Sundays and Thursdays. Tanya, you are so busy. I swear to God, it's busy. And we didn't. Gina Fiore wasn't on today. I hope you're okay.
Yeah, she said she'll be back. She said she'll be back.
I think she's traveling. She's upstate New York somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah. Gina Fiore has
her book.
Pardon me?
Oh, Italian therapy. Italian therapy.
My Italian therapy. Yeah. Or go to myitaliantherapy.com and check out Gina. Gina is a 19-year survivor of breast cancer. I think she was at stage 3 or 4, she said. And she took the natural route to healing herself. And 19 years later, she's still here. So she must be onto something.
Yeah.
So thanks again, folks. Thanks for watching. And we're going to go out. The Black killings still continue. And that's something. I know we're 5 Black comics and we try to be funny, but there's nothing funny about watching people that look like us get shot just because they look like us.
Yeah. And
it's very heartbreaking and it hurts.
3 this week.
And it looks like it's almost like they're retaliated.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're retaliated. So we'll be back next week, folks. Thanks again for watching the show.
Thank you, guys.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
It was Freddie, Sam, Corey, Eric, Philando, Ahmad, Steven, Kenneth, Amadou, Jonathan, Christian, Terrace, Sean. Killed him a day before his wedding. Jamar killed him while he was in handcuffs. Mike killed him while he had his hands up. Kamani, Ramali, Phillip, Alton. About 3 Kevins, about 2 Jordans. John, Laquan, Bathon, Stephon, Tony, Tamir, Elijah, Antoine, Isel, Terrell, Dontre, Akai, George. For him, set the country on fire. Timothy, Patrick, Paul, Tyree, Quintonio, Darius, Jeremy, William, Anthony, Dante, Oscar, Kendrick, Keith, David, Walter, woman like Sandra, Betty, Rihanna, India, Michelle, Tatiana, Tanisha, Rika, Natasha, Pamela, Janet, Megan, baby Ayana. All that we lost, your name live on. Wasn't killed by a cop, but I can't forget Trayvon. Can't forget Emmett, and all of those we lost to the beast. No justice, no peace.